Welcome to the first ever BMR Teacher Roast. My name is Brittany Dwyer.
And I'm Julia House, and we'll be your host for tonight. I would just like to make it clear, we are waiting on a child step stool for this one.
We have a great night planned with lots of laughs and hopefully some new insults you wish you thought of yourself.
The junior class is very excited to be hosting this event, and we just want to thank you all for joining us here tonight.
We would like to thank those brave teachers for letting us hurl them with insults, and feel free to return the favor.
I'd like to invite our sophomore, Jake Purdon, up here to start off the night.
Mr. DeWolf, would you please take a seat? How are you, Mr. DeWolf? Turn it on. What'd I do?
I'm fine.
All right, cool, that's good. I had Mr. DeWolf last year for history, and I was awful in that class. In that class, anyone who had that class with me, or any freshmen now who have him as a teacher, know that the majority of his class was spent taking notes, which is just, he puts his lesson on the board because he was probably too lazy to think of an actual one, and you copy it down in your notebook. And by the end of the year, you probably had like 3 notebooks just full of it. And there were a couple visual learners in my class, which means that method didn't work for them. So Mr. DeWolf would feel the need to, he would say, all right, leave a blank space in your notes. I'm gonna do some visual representations on the board so you can follow along with me. That was a very bad idea, because he's told us many times that he's not good at drawing, but he still did it anyway. And if I go through my old notebooks, it's pretty neat notes. I mean, my handwriting's awful, but it was still neat anyway. And then just like a big space left with just random scribbles and words, and it made no sense. It literally looked like I was just having seizures in the middle of class. Even the visual learners are like, I'm getting nothing from this. But every once in a while, he would stop the notes, and then he would be like, or he would ask a question. And that, let me tell you, is the most terrifying thing ever, because none of us knew the answer. Because we just weren't paying attention. Or I know I wasn't. So he would ask the question, and then all of us would just go dead silent. And we'd just be writing in our notebooks and just try not to make eye contact with him, because if you did, you knew he was gonna be like, you, answer the question right now. And then immediately your life is just over. Because you just don't know the answer, and it's just awkward, and it is the worst feeling in the world. So for all the freshmen out there, I don't know where you were, here's a lesson. If he ever stops the notes to ask you a question and you don't know the answer, just keep your head down and pray to God he doesn't see you. A phrase that I often associate with Mr. DeWolf's class is, keep your head down and your ears open. Now, I had heard that phrase previous to having that class, but I couldn't remember exactly what it was from. And then one day it finally hit me. They say that about prison. But of course, in prison, you're allowed to go to the bathroom between the first 5 minutes. You're allowed to go to the bathroom between the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of your sentence. But DeWolf's class wasn't really that much like prison. I mean, at least they don't make you listen to his guitar in prison. Oh, no. Actually, you know what? To be honest, DeWolf's actually not that bad at guitar. I mean, he plays with the teacher band, and you may have seen them at the 2 gigs they have in the year. Pep Rally and Band-Aid. DeWolf is actually a pretty talented guitar player, I'm not gonna lie. But the rest of the band, they know how to stand there and look like a band. But to be honest, DeWolf actually rocks that guitar. He rocks it harder than he rocks his toupee.
Mr. DeWolf, it looks like your history. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Thank you.
Can I go now, or what do I do?
Yeah, you can sit back down. Update, I got my step stool.
Nothing to say, come on.
Look, honestly, Jake's a great kid, and I've always said this about Blackstone and all that, and not to, you can't take this stuff too seriously, because honestly, Jake, life's too short, and frankly, so are you. And,
I remember hearing that like 3 times in class last year, so good one.
All right, up next, we call Kyle Gagnon to the podium.
Hey there, Mr. Schaefer. How's it going? Want to take a seat? Hey. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. You know, Jake was mentioning how Mr. DeWolf was in the band, and, you were at pep rally, weren't you? You were playing the bass. Yeah, I'm sure you were one of the ones that was just standing there, looking like a band. Sorry to tell you.
Oh, I totally forgot he was in there.
All right. So, here's first joke of the day. No, it's not really a joke. I'll tell you to comb your hair, but, it's getting down to, like, Mr. Ducharme's level. You wouldn't have to worry about it pretty soon. So, you're all set. You can wait a bit on combing it. I remember being in band. Band's a great class, trust me. I love band. But, sometimes he asks you a question, and it's like, what's the answer? Anyone got the answer? And he's like, you should know this. I'm like, yeah, I should know this. So someone answers it, like Tim Sprout over here, who says, like, I don't know, he just says something so random sometimes. I bet he just does that to get you to be quiet sometimes. Sorry. You're so tall. I wish I was that tall. Trust me, I know I'm a little short. How many steps does it take you across the stage? Probably one? One? Is that correct? Probably, yeah. You weren't always here at the high school. Did you have to, like, call them to see if you could, like, readjust the ceilings? Like, did you have to, like, duck your head when you came in here? Like, oh. I'm sure they were nice enough to do it for you. Mr. Schaefer, we can't do this roast again. You can't do it one more time as much as you really want to. It's just not like band. You can't do it one more time. I wonder how old are you? Did you, like, see this school getting built? Did you, like, see the auditorium? Like, that's a nice auditorium. I'm sure Mr. Ducharme was there with you, like, patting you on the back, like, yeah, that's a nice auditorium. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, look at that picture. I found that picture, all right, and I was like, I could do something with this. So, right here, this looks like a face of, like, a focusing face, but you never see it because it hurts him too often. Like, if he does it, it just hurts him. So, like, you never see him focus. It's attractive face, I say. I would hand you the microphone so you can come and roast me now, but all you have to do is, like, reach out your arm and, like, you're right there. That's how tall you are, like.
Remember that.
All right. How old are you again? Like, do you, like, need a cane yet to get over the hill? Like, like, getting over there? Like, do you use a cane to get over there? Just wondering. All right, that's all I got for you right now.
That's all you got?
Yeah, I mean.
Gagnon, it's good enough to see that your jokes are just as bad as your French horn playing. Thanks a lot.
Hey. I would practice my French horn if only you could practice your roasting on me. Sorry.
And just to add, Mr. Schaefer, if you can't see us, we're the blobs over here by the I bet you might be able to hear us, but I don't know if you can see it. All right, thank you, Mr. Schaefer. And thank you, Kyle, for making too much treble.
Go ahead, ready? Todd Bless. Next up, we have Brendan Thero and Tim Spratt.
All right, first of all, who spelled my name wrong? Come on.
We like to call Mr. Gurlitt to the hot seat.
Oh, we just dabbed. That's cute, Clementine. Gurlitt. Oh, no. So first, if you saw the BMR news, you know Mr. Gurlitt is a big fan of lacrosse, so he's considered a lax bro. Minus the mullet, because he's balding, but...
You know, Mr. Gurlitt, there's a reason why we don't have lax at BMR. No one likes it.
Since you're the new guy here, why were you so eager to get roasted? Damn. All right. Tim? No. Oh, okay. Tim, you got this one? All right.
So if you didn't know, Mr. Gurlitt was on the swim team in college. And we always like to consider him almost like Michael Phelps, except he's nothing like Michael Phelps at all, because he's pretty bad at swimming.
Since you were a swimmer, look at that body. Come on, where'd it go?
Yeah, it looks like he put on a few pounds since then.
And it's probably because of your dietary habits.
Oh, they're right here. Here you go. Oh, what? Oh. What? Now, if you didn't know, a former NFL running back named Marshawn Lynch had this fond thing of Skittles, and his nickname was Beast Mode. Our nickname for Mr. Gurlitt is Feast Mode.
So, Mr. Gurlitt, that's all we have for you because you're the new guy. We know nothing really about you yet. So hopefully we didn't ruin your trip here at BMR. Hopefully you may or may not come back.
Those were some low blows. Welcome to the club.
All right, next we would like to introduce Tim Spratt.
Again.
Mr. Rowe, come on down. Now, if you don't know Mr. Rowe, he's a math teacher here at BMR. He's been here for many years. Couldn't tell you how long, to be honest. So let's get started. Hey, Rowe, why is it that your hair is darker than a black hole, but your kids are as bright as the sun? The results are in. You are not the father.
It's all over.
Hey, Mr. Rowe, have you looked in a mirror lately? Because I think I see something on your forehead area. It looks like you got a giant caterpillar, man. Oh, wait, that's just his unibrow. Now, if you didn't know, Rowe was an athlete back in the day. He played some basketball at his high school. But if you also didn't know, he rocked a nice afro back in the day. Now, Mr. Rowe, what happened to the afro you had? Is it now where your eyebrows are? Okay, everyone, I'm gonna need you to quiet down for this next one. Please be silent until otherwise.
Jesus Christmas!
I have one last joke for you. Now, if you don't know, Coach Rowe is also the basketball coach here at BMR. He's been here for many years, been the coach. Hey, Coach, I know you love basketball and all, but I think you need to stop trying to be like you're in high school still. It's time to hit the showers, old-timer. Is that it? Oh, shit. Oh, God.
Thanks for the insight, Tim. Should we just call you Captain Obvious, or? Damn. Yeah, I've never heard the unibrow one before. Hey, listen, you might want to think about what you're going to do next winter.
Damn.
I'm thinking you might have some free time, although we could use a good water boy. Just a thought. But thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rowe, and
Try not to fall off the stool.
I like my stool.
I would like to call Mr. Uglow to the hot seat.
And Josh.
Before Colin starts, I just want to say that Uglow is the worst referee of all time. Guy can't make a good call for his life.
No, your class is just bad at the games you play, okay?
I'm sorry.
All right, so they gave me 5 minutes to tell you all the great things about Coach Uglow, which is fine, but I have no idea what I'll do for the other 4 minutes and 50 seconds. What can you say about a man who is admired, revered, and loved by everyone? I can start by saying he is definitely not the man I'm talking about tonight. I'll never forget the first time I met Coach Uglow, but I'm hoping the therapy will eventually work. Seriously though, I will always be thankful, and I'll never forget the day he saved my life when I was going into a diabetic shock. This is a true story, and I will be forever grateful. As long as I can forget the part where I was blacking out and seeing my life flash before my very eyes, Coach Uglow interrupted that peaceful moment by staring at a needle and screaming, "You gotta be freaking kidding me. I gotta do what?" Luckily, he reluctantly pushed a syringe into my stomach. After all the courageous and brave efforts, I don't understand why he's been trying to kill me every day since. For example, Coach, I have crutches. You can crawl. I have no arms and legs. You can slither. It's good for the core. As you all know, he's very active in sports, especially high school sports. I'm not sure what position he played. I think the coach called him one of the team's drawbacks. As you can tell, he hasn't changed much.
What is this?
This continued into college, as you can see, but we're not allowed to talk about that. He's very sensitive about his height, so don't tease him. He'll punch you in the knee. He was devastated in college when he was cut from the basketball team because while they could lower the bar, they could not lower the net. I'm not saying he's short, but he almost once drowned in a puddle. I'm actually pretty sure it was several times. Maybe because he's so short, he overcompensates by making speeches so long. He can get carried away sometimes. The only problem is, it's never far enough. But we're glad that Coach Uglow could be here tonight. I am. Thankfully, someone left his cage open. I know, he's not as bad as people think. He's much worse. I used to think he was a pain in the neck, but now I have a much lower opinion of him. He's been known to do a lot of soul searching, but so far, he has not found one. I do not know what his problem is, but I'm pretty sure it's hard to pronounce and it's untreatable. He puts the fun into dysfunctional. He used to be arrogant and obnoxious, but now he's just the opposite. He's obnoxious and arrogant. His mind may have gone on vacation, but his mouth is still working overtime. He has an answer for everything, the wrong one. Brains aren't everything. Of course, in your case, they aren't anything. He's not intellectually challenged, provided you don't ask him to spell intellectually challenged. He doesn't know the meaning of the word fear, but then again, he doesn't know the meanings of most words. What's the difference between Coach Uglow and a BMR freshman? What? A freshman could actually teach a wellness class. He doesn't suffer from stress, mainly because he's a carrier. Also, because he's not married. I don't know what the problem is. Once you get the ring, you don't even have to get on one knee to propose. If you like it, then you should put a ring on it, Coach. Heck, even I deserve a ring after putting up with you. The positive side is he only has one bad trait, breathing. Coach Uglow just wants people to accept him as he is, which is unusual because most people want to be liked. But you have to admit, he does grow on you, like a tumor. Isn't he great? He just really lights up a room whenever he leaves it. But of all seriousness, I've known him for 3 years. He's a good coach, and he's shown me a lot. So thank you for that.
Wait. Don't go.
Oh, no.
Don't go.
It's not over.
I mean, give Colin a hand. That was a great roast. Give him a hand.
Thank you.
We all know Colin knows how to use Google Images. All right.
And MySpace.
He clearly...
Because MySpace was a thing.
Yes, MySpace. Yes. Okay. And he clearly knows how to look up, basic jock jokes online. So that's pretty good. But, I mean, for... Okay, but I mean, for as smart as Colin really is, okay, let's talk about football for a second. For as smart as Colin really is, I just don't understand how after 3 years he still doesn't know how to block somebody. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. I put him right in front of somebody else, and I tell him, Colin, just stand there. Just stand there. If you just stand there, you might even just slow him down. But Colin, using his wisdom, decides to spin and turn his body around and let the guy go right by him and kill my quarterback.
Coach, I learned it from watching you.
Every play. It's interesting because, Colin, I don't play the line. So you must have been watching me throw the football. And, Colin, you're never going to throw the football. Ever.
I know, because you're jealous. I'm going to show you up.
Yeah, Colin, you throw like a girl. We all know it. Okay.
At least I don't hit like a girl.
Now, you're right, you don't hit at all. Okay. Now, also, along the lines of football, okay, Colin, yes, I saved his life 1 year, okay? I clearly will not do that if it happens again. But it's interesting that Colin seems to be the only player that gets into worse shape as the season goes on. I've never seen somebody throw up more at the last practice than they do at the first practice of the year.
Round is a
So,
shape
Colin,
too, coach. Round is a shape.
Yes, yes. You keep telling yourself that, Colin.
I will.
Okay? But, I mean, in all seriousness, Colin's a great guy. You know, I hope that he can find something to do during the fall next year. I remember during the Powder Puff game, he looked good in a tutu, so maybe he can join the cheerleading team. But I don't think that they'll see you on the sideline wearing a jersey. But good job, Colin. Love you, buddy.
Thank you.
Where's our stuff?
Good afternoon, Mr. Good afternoon, BMR. Could Mr. Ducharme please report to the in-house seat?
Just remember, Wasim, I used to like you.
It's okay, Mr. Ducharme. You can't get roasted as badly as Mr. Uglow. Only physical education teachers are that easy to roast.
Even I can laugh at that, Wasim.
God bless. Is that a full head of hair? I didn't know you were into wigs in the 90s.
It is in the back.
So while we're on the topic of your head, I have some bad news for you. We decided to dive into your Google search history. How to make a bald head shine? All right. Everyone knows that Mr. Ducharme is bald, and it was cheap for me to hit him on that. But all I'm saying is that if he took half the time taking care of his car that he did his head, he'd show up to school with a freshly waxed vehicle every day.
Every other.
One thing about Mr. Ducharme is he's anything but subtle on the intercom. He has 3 tones. The first is irritation. He'll call the classroom and say, "Could you please send John Dupermont to the office immediately?" And that's the signature Ducharme telephone slam. Most of the times, the teacher on the other end doesn't even get a chance to respond.
Quiet, DeWolf.
Next is annoyance, like when that kid forgets to do the morning announcements and he's forced to do them himself. Good morning, BMR. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's only because Linda won't do them when you don't show up.
When they were teaching you the alphabet in kindergarten, did they just skip over the R? Because I have no idea what BMR is. Maybe you were trying to say BMR?
Yeah, right.
You can basically plan out how good your day at BMR is going to be based on 3 factors. What's for lunch, what's block period, and what color is Mr. Ducharme's shirt? Exhibit A.
I like red.
You mad? You know, they say BMR is all about opening doors. Clearly, Mr. Ducharme took that to heart when he opened the boys' bathroom door and never closed again. That's all I got for Ducharme today.
That's all you got?
That's all I've got.
I'm the easiest guy in the world to make fun of, and that's all you got, Wasim? Are you kidding me? How about a hand for Wasim? Now, Wasim, you know, a couple things, first of all. Get up there. First of all, get up there. Second of all, show up in the morning and the afternoon to do the announcements, please. I mean, we missed you for 2 days. I mean, BMR for lunch today, we're gonna have raviolis, and we're gonna have a fruit cup. Everybody get their fruit cup. Wasim, you screw up more than you get it right anyway. Linda's always have to yell at you. Jeez. Now, let's get back to the bald thing. First of all, that first picture, you weren't even thought of back then. That was a long time ago, back when I had a little bit of hair. If you notice, the picture's black and white, so it really makes it look thick. You should think about that in a few years, because I don't know, the lighting in here isn't very good for you, top of your head. You know, you look like, who was that guy from the movie back in the day there? The guy, you know the guy. You know the guy
Oh, yeah,
I'm
the
talking
guy?
about? Yeah. You know that guy, right? The guy from that movie there that, you know, you look just like him. But I've been this way. How old are you, 17, Wasim?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yep.
Longer than you've been alive, so I know how to shine this thing up. I created most of those things online. You know, the only thing I'm missing is the earring, and I can, you know, fight grime and grum and be the, you know, Mr. Clean. Now, the thing about the red shirt, which is false, Wasim, you have to understand, I'm colorblind. I thought it was green. I never even knew it was red. But I'm never mad or angry, right, Linda? Linda, for those of you who don't know Linda, she's my secretary. Everybody say hi to Linda. Let's all be honest. We all know that basically Linda runs the school, at least the office. We just do what she says. Yes, Linda. We're her boys. She calls us her boys. But really, Wasim, you did a great job. For the most part, I would have ripped me apart a lot better than you. I tell you, you were very nice. So I was thinking about not having you come back to school till like next Wednesday after tonight. But you did such a good job. I think you can come back tomorrow.
Solid.
I'm even buying you a cookie at lunch.
Nice.
Thanks you. How about a big hand for Wasim?
All right, Mr. Ducharme, the part where Wasim was saying how they skipped over the letter R in kindergarten, I think it's furthermore than that. You didn't graduate. Is that why you're still here? Is that why you're the vice principal at the school? I know college credits are really expensive these days, but come on.
But, hey, Mr. DeWolf, I'm gonna give you a pink slip for laughing this whole time. Seriously, why? Like, oh, Christmas. Sorry, I almost dropped my papers. Oh, Christmas. Should I take out my electric guitar and start, like, jamming to, like, I don't know, like... Hi, Mr. DeWolf. Come on, Mr. DeWolf. Hit me with your best shot. Oh, Christmas.
I think it's great that, by the way, what's the name of the organization again? You're raising money for boys who don't have girlfriends? Is that what this is?
Oh!
Men without women. Is that what that is?
Good one.
And I feel sorry for you. I do.
I do too.
I was talking to Mr. Rowe, and he's good with numbers and all that sort of thing, and he was mentioning that the crime rate in the town of Blackstone has plummeted since this whole thing began. And I don't know if there's a connection between... All right, you don't get it. I understand. I understand you don't get it. You were in my class, and much like Mr. Perdon, when I would call on you and ask you things like who was the second president, you and Perdon would go, Jell-O.
Actually,
and that's what we have to deal with on a daily basis. Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dudek, you turned us down earlier. Are you sure you don't want to come up here?
Mr. Dudek!
Come on.
Sarah wants to roast. Come on down.
Come on.
Be nice, be nice. I do cry easily, okay?
All right, Mr. Dudek, so we had the honor roll breakfast a few days ago, and you spoke at that. And you were talking about the percentages of the classes that made honor roll. You said 18% of freshmen made it, and the other 72% didn't. That is 90%, Mr. Dudak. Where are the other 10%? Freshman lives matter.
For those who aren't aware, or for those who don't go to this school, Mr. Dudek and Mr. Ducharme are the principal and vice principal of the school. Now, I always thought they were kind of an odd pair because Mr. Dudek is laid back, doesn't really yell that much. Ducharme is the opposite. Whenever I see the two together at like an assembly or something, I always think they're kind of like a good cop, bad cop pair. Like, actually, you know what? That's not a good. You're more like husband and wife, to be honest.
Who's the husband? Who's the wife?
Oh no. Mr. Dudek is kind of like, pardon me if this seems rude, but he's.
Listen, be nice. Be nice.
I'll just sit down.
So, in the rare occasion that I do forget to do announcements, and Dudek is the one that takes over, have you ever noticed the way he goes through the Pledge of Allegiance? No rhythm. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Wait, who said that? On behalf of the junior class, we'd like to say thank you to everybody who came tonight, these wonderful gentlemen for roasting, and these brave teachers for taking the time and a little bit of their dignity.
Have a good night, everyone.